So if we do need to kill someone, make it be someone who can fight in the dark. Who does it?
But in all possibility, and this is a truth that does exist in cities, if you want a body disposed, you could probably toss it down in the sewers, and you probably wouldn't be found.
I imagine the grates are well fortified, though.
They certainly do have protections around them, yes.
So
but there are, of course,
leave
channels
one
and
open,
ditches, and,
fall out. Yeah.
They do empty out into the docks. So, I mean...
Dump the body in the docks, people think it comes from the sewer. Well, actually, then you'd have to eat it first, I suppose. Kind of...
But yes, like in, say, Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, where they do have, like, the sewers, like, fortified against, like, ratmen or whatever the fuck might be lurking down in there. A similar situation exists here, but it's only ghouls and gas. Which are scarier, because gas will eat anything.
We fought gas, yeah.
Yes. Gas, by lore, are ghouls who have eaten another ghoul, and it changes them completely.
Well, the thing, we could go into the sewer and see if there's like a secret entrance to his portal, but it seems...
The idea would be to find his toilet hole, then flush him out using the basilisk oil Urim has come into contact with.
Oh, that's what you're planning.
It will spoil any of his food in the area, and it is smelly and really hard to wash out.
Of course, many homes as such don't end up having like toilet services. You know, they have like their pots that they throw out, and ditches like carry it into the sewers.
I thought would be that most of the nobles would have that sort of thing, especially if he doesn't really want to get out often. Or bathe and such. Of course, it could be a frost lead.
Couldn't we just throw that through a window or something? I mean, there were like heavy
but then we would be
drapes
stuck
and
by
all that.
guards and like taken for throwing basilisk, like.
Lord Taraptus would be pretty hard pressed to
Not
get
a,
you out
it's not
there.
it's not a popular thing to do.
No.
It's not something that is easy to come by, and it's not really something you're like dump that in a military warehouse or in a marketplace, and you could like damage so many goods and such. I mean, sort of a very toxic substance, you would say. Ruins every food and drink that you have. It would be perfect for getting him out of his
How large of an area would that affect it? Like, would it
limited area.
My primary question would be, how in the hell would you identify that you were beneath his home in the sewers?
Yes, how indeed. I would imagine that the Marrow Men might have a map of some parts of the sewer. Most likely the ones on the heights, because those are probably the ones that are best maintained, if maintained at all. The ones under the Haven, probably not. But we'd simply look for the ones that were out at the edge there. That would be a good start, I think. Maybe count the houses and then count the... Yeah.
Well, the Marrow Men certainly... Newport... the problem with Newport in that regard is because the entire city has sprung up so haphazardly over the past 200 or so years that it is very, like... It's not like sane and logical construction, like completely orderly and well manifested. There's so many buildings and so much construction that goes everywhere. You could feasibly make an attempt to get such a map, but I would necessitate a attempt to persuade roll, basically, in the hopes of like getting like a Marrowman guard like commander type, in like trying to get an audience with one of like them. And then getting a map for the Heights, which, you know, is the most well-protected district out of all 4 districts. And as such, you know, anything the guards might do might be noticed by nobility. So, certainly an attempt to persuade one of them through a skill check.
Alright.
You guys rather good at persuading people, yeah?
Not exactly. Although Aurelia might at least know a rather talkative Marrowman.
Oh.
Could maybe be persuaded. I'm not sure.
Well, he wouldn't have access to a map. He was a former Marrowman. He also did not work within the Heights, So, I mean, like, he could attempt to direct you, but no one is really that eager to go into the sewers.
Hmm.
We'll probably be offering to kill, like, ghouls and gas in exchange for, well, doing whatever it is we want to do down there, right?
Well, you do have some reputation in that regard, so if you returned without any skulls, it would certainly be noticed. If you were willing to offer that, then sure! The commander in question, having heard of your reputation, could show you a map, of course. These sewers are rather convoluted, and
perhaps to help them, there might be some repairs that some noble needs done, and we could perhaps go with the repair person and make sure they're safe for their trip, and in return we could, maybe...
No one really goes down there to repair. Like, there would have to be a serious thing, which no, there's not now.
Okay.
Right.
The Heights are better protected, but ghouls still do lurk within the sewers in the Heights district.
Yeah. It's just a murder spree, basically. That's what we do down there. How many can you kill? How fast? It doesn't matter where. It doesn't matter who. I mean, probably. I imagine the Haven is more than before because probably more people are like. Even if it's not like I could imagine like mob bosses, just like locking you down there. Like that's like a good way of punishing people who don't pay their protection money or something. Just take them and lock them in the sewer. If they're there for a whole day, maybe you could let them out. They'll be terrified enough to not do that again.
Yeah, you just lock them there for an hour first, then a day, then 2 days, and they'll start talking eventually.
Not the hole, please. And then he's like, locks the grate, and he's like, yeah, well. If you're here when I come back tomorrow, perhaps you will have reconsidered my proposal for a bit of work you could do for me. And people are never the wiser, because, well, there's no body if it goes wrong.
So essentially your plan is to offer killing ghouls in exchange for a map so we can find his, well, toilet access to stink up the place and hope he leaves.
I mean, he has to leave if he doesn't have any food, right? And if any food he takes with him in there gets spoiled.
Yeah, then
At
he
least,
can't be there anymore.
It ruins his ability to eat, and he would have to leave. It's something we can do, and I do believe the plan is merit. But I wouldn't really kind of not want to go down there without, like, at least one more person.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Good times.
Locked, and we're like, God damn it, how do we do this? And we're like, Tempus, where are you? And he's just a box laying in the college.
Mud.
He has so many skills that the rest of us don't, because he's such a rake. I'm sure the Dwarven Games has the ghoul survival run, or something like that. Maybe his trick stuff the dice has allowed him to open many sewer grade locks.
So the idea was for you to suggest this and then sort of like stall the rest of the time, hoping Gryph shows up in the next 15 minutes?
No, I was simply trying to see if it was a possibility.
Yes.
Well, don't Aurelia have some of the same skills that Tempus has?
Opening locks and things is probably something Aurelia can do
okay,
rather well as
that's
well.
good.
That's why Sheep, through Aurelia, was suggesting like attempting to pick open one of the doors to Thurl's shop.
Yeah.
I must admit though, that's as far as the plan goes. What happens then is he leaves and goes home, and then
I mean, he doesn't want to be home.
no,
Yeah,
because he
that's a
knows we'll
fact.
come get him from there. Or maybe he just goes and disappears to someplace else.
But if he-
We would have to be prepared for him to actually leave his place.
Yes, I would say that through the deaf speaker. Like, while you're talking about suggesting, like, so, you're down there in the sewers. Say he does have a toilet. Say you manage to release the basilisk oil and it works flawlessly. And it fumes up and completely stinks the place and all of his rations are spoiled. And then, while you're down there, he walks out and leaves.
Exactly.
Yep. Then we'll have
Yeah,
to
no
find out
problem.
if where he went. And, yeah.
Well, a disgruntled noble leaving the height should not be too subtle. I don't think he is that kind of person. He does not want to go home, otherwise he wouldn't have left it in the first place. So either he thinks that place is easier for us to break into, which would be good.
It's easier. It's harder for him to dismiss us, I believe.
I perhaps, like, you spooked him quite a bit 2 days ago, from what I hear. Is he even still there? Do you even know if he actually is there? You just suspect he's there, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, what should we do? Go up and ask and get arrested for trespassing again?
He shrugs like, I don't know. Merely that it would be a shame to use that, which is a pollutant, and it would affect, an area, and other people would certainly smell it as well, and it might spoil food in other town homes, and maybe even attract the guards. Just for that, when you can't even be there, it's easier if you actually know he's there, then it's better for you to know that... It's good that he's there, because you know that he's there, rather than trying to find him in a place that you don't know. That speaker shrugs again. That's all that I'm saying. Like, when you know where your enemy is, that's great, because you can contain him there. If the enemy leaves, it's actually harder for you. That's hence the saying, keep your friends close and enemies closer.
That's
if
true.
close, however, is an invincible fortress, then that is a problem.
I thought it was just a house.
It might as well be a fortress. As long as we are unwilling to consider
Mass
casualties.
Of innocence.
I would have put it differently, but yes.
Setting the city on fire would pretty much get you all executed, and there's no icon relationship dice that could save you from that.
We can kill ghouls.
Well, you're gonna have to kill 47 gas, at least.
We can do that.
In a lifetime.
The question is, can we kill the ghasts first and then get a get out of execution free card?
No, it's all about what have you done for me lately.
You go down and farm, and then you have like, oh, he's killed like 100 guys. You can't put him in prison for anything. He killed 10 people. It's fine. Who cares? That would not be a good city to live in.
No. That encourages the growth of gas so that people can kill them.
I mean, what we could do before we go into the sewer is just see if his bolt hole is still guarded. Because if he's not there, it's not going to be guarded. Because
why would he? Because then we think he's in there.
If he's always 2 steps ahead of us, then what the hell are we supposed to do?
Well, 2 steps ahead of him and find his little friend who's going to meet our new friend, and then we're going to have a chat with him, and maybe he knows something. Maybe he's staying with him. Who knows?
Maybe. So you're suggesting
that's something we have to going. We have something stewing, but until we get a message about that,
yeah, it's either do something or wait.
We could go take a look at Little Dragon Hall.
We could, but what would we do?
There's not much to particularly look for, but simply try to find out who has these who is in control there, who's a person there, who, if we have something we want to know, who do we go and talk to about that? Where's the taverns in Little Dragon Hall? What are they like? Those sorts of things. Just scout out the place. We don't really know much about it because we haven't really been.
We're not very inconspicuous.
At least I haven't been.
None of you 3 have been to Little Dragon Hall.
Nope.
There's no, we're not. But, no. I'm sure
so
that
your plan implies basically asking people, hey, what's up here? How are things handled?
We'll go there and see who doesn't leave.
who would you suggest talking to? Just some
I don't
tavern
know. I don't know. We go there and take a look and see if we find anything that seems out of the ordinary, or if nothing else, we could go talk to the guards about whom they might suspect are up to something. There are often enough people whom they know are doing something bad, but they can't really prove it, or maybe they've been paid to look the other way.
Yeah, we could talk to the guards. We could try to find some especially talkative merchant or something. But really asking around repeatedly, you just looking for the people in charge is probably going to draw some unwanted attention there.
Hey, you're gathering information.
It's essentially that, but you know, it's probably not going to be like we go there and gather information in air quotes.
Let's start by going to the docks guards then, and see if they will let us. Let's take a look at what dossier they have about people in the Dragon Hall who are people of note.
All right. You can spend some time today heading to do that. The docks guards, you're able to flex your champion tier reputation and manage to get a hold of something without having to use any icon relationships or having to make any persuade skill checks. Little Dragon Hall has quite a lot of rumors around it. And that tends to be the case with all the Little Dragon Halls, which, there's a Little Dragon Hall in all of the cities, all of the major cities not named Dragon Hall. A little piece where, as the token I added to the Newport map describes, it's sort of like a home away from home, or for all of the wayfarers, the sailors, the wanderers, the merchants, and the exiles and other travelers can get that Dragon Hall feel when they're not a Dragon Hall. It certainly does feel like that. It smells like that. Like, it has, like, this magical presence that, embeds itself within the stone, and the sort of almost bizarre architecture that makes you feel like you're looking out at Blue City. There are 2 taverns within Little Dragon Hall, and those are the primary meeting points for all manners of skullduggery and chicanery and any sort of thing. And those are the Harlequin's Flask and the Winch and Chain. They are rival taverns. And you either go to one, or you go to the other. You don't go to both. The Harlequin's Flask caters more to the more upper class of those who visit Little Dragon Hall, the finer ones, the ones who have gifts and abilities. And it is ran by a former adventurer named Colrin Selter, who was at some point possibly a scofflaw as well, someone who shirks duties. And there's like a back room where no one's allowed to go into, where people can talk business and shop and what have you, and he stays and sleeps there, and the place is rather busy. The Winch and Chain is for the dock workers and for the rowdier, folks who, a bit of rough and tumble. Prize fighters like to go there, and there's even fights that are held there on occasion. And it's run by a former dock worker and fisherman named Aaron Wright. Is the Winch and Chain. As noted, they are rival taverns. You go to one or go to the other, and individuals who live in the several city block district, that is Little Dragon Hall, do identify with one or the other. It is a sort of like a convenient marker of social strata and belonging.
Oh.
As such, the 2 proprietors of these taverns, which is what they are, probably hold more power than what most tavern keepers are used to holding, simply by nature of how this Little Dragon Hall has constructed itself. And people choose to identify with one tavern or the other.
So they would be the people who there are dossiers on then, yeah?
Colrin Selter is known as a former adventurer and a suspected individual who perhaps has ties to Shadowport, and he's perhaps done some illicit activity in his day. The guards, they know that he's like a small-time criminal and that like he'll hold bets on like rat races or like ship arrival times, stuff like that. You know, so it's confirmed that he at least handles that stuff, which isn't enough for, like, the guards to, like, go into Little Drakenhall and, like, pull him in for, like, you have gambling for ship arrival times. It's not something that's worth their time at all. And, as for the Winch and Chain, the proprietor there, who is Aaron Wright, he is a former dock worker and fisherman, not a former adventurer, like... Seeing as how he supports prize fighting and, like, people, like, pitting and fighting each other for money, he's probably into that, and he's probably done some of that himself. And he does have a record of having done that throughout his several decades. Aaron Wright is a far much older man. He's in his 50s. Whereas Colrin Selter is in his 40s, perhaps? They both appear to be human. Which is about as good as you can get in Little Drakenhall.
Does it say where these taverns are located?
Yes, you can't miss them. They are both on opposite ends of Little Drakenhall.
Oh.
Which, you know, it's several city blocks, so you can stand outside one and see the other.
Right.
In the distance, but you could still see it.
How many people generally live in Little Dragonhall? Is it mostly visitors?
It's hard to say. It's primarily visitors. And the individuals who just feel tied to Drakenhall. Like, it could be 200?
Alright. That's a very, very limited number.
Yeah, it's...
And then,
you know,
like, maybe, like, 6 times as many visitors, or, like, 3 times, or...
the guards wouldn't have the numbers.
Okay.
The census doesn't measure that.
It would just be an interesting sort of figurature.
So if one of those taverns were to be directly affiliated with the Black Fang, certainly it would be prospering. Is there any of the two taverns visibly doing worse than the other?
The guards wouldn't know. Like, visibly, they both looked like... They wouldn't know, like, none of them have, like, gilded windows and a side, and, like, we have tons of money. Like a shrug in that regard. Like, if you wanted to make any sort of argument, perhaps the Harlequin's Flask is doing better because it serves higher class clientele, but both of them are still very much in business.
Mm-hmm. I would believe that the Wench's Chain is the place to go. One, the Black Fang people we know so far have not been hiding as upper class people. They've been trying to hide out of sight in a place where they wouldn't really be noticed, which is among lower class people, so they can go anywhere without being seen.
We would stand out a lot more there, though.
I don't know. I think they're very good at disguising themselves, and there's probably a lot.
I mean, if we go there, we will stick out.
Yeah, if the Harlequin's Flask is known for having like a back room to talk business, then it would make sense for
That's
people
not what
of
the Black
ours.
Fang does.
Yeah, but I'm just. I mean...
The Black Fang, as far as I understand them, would go to the place where the people are poor and don't really think of themselves as being that big. Like, I think, yeah, most of the people there are very devoted to what they do, Black Fang. Also, the whole thing about holding fights sounds like a
exactly, like a
recruitment thing that they might do. Because that's kind of what they did the other place. So
that's true. So should we go there because we think it's associated with the Black Fang, or should we go to the other place because we think it's associated with the Black Fang?
I mean, I'd suggest going to the other place first. Because we think that's not the Black Fang one.
It's probably a good idea to just
and they have a dark back room where we might be able to go and buy some information. And if they don't like the other one, then they might be happy to talk.
Yeah, I like the plan.
Sure.
Of course, I'm not sure how much they would want to tell us about the Black Fang, or how much we can trust what they say, because they don't like the other tavern, so they might be biased a lot. You know, wanting us to make problems for their enemies, without there being any real reason for it. So, you know, how will we ask?
I mean, we could just be somewhat direct and say that we are looking for individuals who have been opposing the government of the city, and see what they tell us.
That's like
basically.
everybody, though.
I mean, there might be someone who is known to have done it in these circles, like specifically, and then we could go see.
I think that's way too vague for what they would want.
But do you want to be?
If you even suggest that around the guards, they're gonna laugh at you and like, yeah, who's against the city? Probably at least half, if not more, of Little Dragon Hall. Not to mention however many other criminals are in the entire city. Like,
It would basically be an opportunity to give the tavern keeper or whatever
a chance to not be dead by the player characters. Here's your chance to have us not kill you in 4 sessions.
That's not exactly what I was referring to, but essentially just...
That's what it sounds like.
just imply something and see what he makes of it.
How would does the Black Fang have like a sign that makes people know who they are? Like some sort of identifiable,
like a tattoo
common
or something like that.
mark? No, just like so that you could show someone and they would be like, oh, that's who I'm talking to. You know, someone who knew already what that sign would be.
Well,
handshake.
Aurelia would know some sign language that she has learned that could communicate based on the cell that she was in, but she would also have to put herself out like that to show those signs. Could maybe make the Black Fang realize you're not actually dead.
Yeah. The like signs and identification might also vary by location, so
yes.
Whatever she knows would not necessarily be helpful here, apart from giving her away.
Yes.
Well, I mean, maybe I was more thinking that if the tavern keeper knew anything, that would certainly spook him, I think. But maybe he would be a part of it, and that would be unfortunate.
Yes, like what if the tavern keeper is a part of it?
Let's send Aurelia in alone to infiltrate the Black Fang.
I feel like this has happened in a similar situation.
It worked out so well last time.
I feel like I've been here before. Have we been here before?
We found Ravinger last time. Surely he'll be in one of these taverns. How does this keep happening?
Turns out he's Exilia.
Yeah. Oh, that would be awkward.
He is the gloom, yes. And you'd be like, I like him even more now. And then Goger's like, I knew we should have killed him back in fucking...
Let's go fight gas together for your freedom.
God damn it. Yeah, he's probably working with the Death's Hand guy that still lives.
Maybe.
I would be like it. I found this great guy who I could adventure with to earn my money back and make a new bandit. And then we'd like kill that guy too. And he's like, God damn it.
I can't show you guys anyone.
You guys you should really join us at this point, right? I mean, what you got to lose? We killed everybody, right? Last time we saw him, he wasn't even with his girlfriend anymore.
No one asked about that, so...
Yeah. It seemed impolite. Also because I was carrying her sword still.
There was that too, and you were a bit rushed for time at that particular moment, and just no one never came up.
No. Remind me to ask him that when we meet him again.
He certainly had backstory and reasons behind why he was there, and what was motivating him, and what happened with Celine, and...
He didn't really seem interested to talk a whole lot, though. He was like, I'm gonna leave. Maybe she was only attracted to him when he was powerful. He's the true hero of this story. Regardless, should we go to the pricey place, the Harlequin's Flask, and
I would say yes, but I'm unsure how to phrase our inquiries here.
Yeah.
When in doubt, improvise, make a mockery of it, and at least we've exhausted that lead.
Yes, sheep, Goger. Just ad-lib your way through it. Christ.
I mean, last time I did that, I went to jail.
I mean, these guys won't put you to jail, I'm pretty sure. Might have to stab you, but without reputation, I doubt it. I doubt they would stab you. Although we're definitely not their friends. They know that much. You know?
Yeah. And I will certainly stick out very much there. I mean,
You all, with your reputations, are going to be sticking out.
That Aurelia.
Yes, Aurelia, she probably wouldn't unless she wants to stick out, in which case she has an entirely different reputation.